Education meeting. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Miles, will you please call roll?
Mrs. Bolton.
Here.
Mrs. Farrell.
Here.
Mr. Grossman.
Present.
Mrs. Higby-Iono.
Here.
Mrs. Miller.
Here.
Mrs. Papalardo.
Here.
Mrs. Pote. We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, we don't have any presentations this evening. It's going to take us to our first public comment. The Pitman Public School Board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. This is the first of two public comments we will have tonight. The first public hearing is on agenda items only. This is a public comment and not a dialogue between the board and the public. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and it is your opportunity to ask questions or make comments. In accordance with board policy number 0167, we ask that you state your name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation if applicable. To be recognized to speak, please stand to the podium located to my left and speak clearly into the microphone. Okay, seeing no one. Mr. Miles, correspondence?
Yes, we do have one correspondence from a teacher who just retired earlier this month, Stacy Hess. The link to her card is in the agenda. It's a brief card, so I just thought I would go ahead and read it. She's thanking the board for the recognition ceremony earlier this month. She said, "Thank you to the Pitman Board of Education for the thoughtful retirement gift and your kind recognition. I deeply appreciate your generosity and support, which has made this milestone meaningful. It has been an honor to serve the Pitman students who are amazing." So that's from Mrs. Hess to the board.
Thank you. All right, it's going to take us to meeting minutes. I'll now move to accept a motion for the minutes of the Pitman Board of Education as held, and the dates listed below are approved and are approved as printed and reading dispensed with. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Everyone was here. Any abstentions? Okay, seeing none. All right, it's going to take us to our president's report. We just have a couple housekeeping items tonight. I think the board, I can speak on behalf of the whole board, that we enjoyed going to graduation and moving up ceremonies and our student recognition ceremonies. They were all really nice. I just also want to say shout out to our incredible team for the grass on Davis Field. I don't think it's ever looked better. It was incredible.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's just, it's such a 180. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just peek down here. One of the things that I wanted to talk to the board about was committee times for meetings. I'd like to send out a poll, and for everybody kind of thinking of the whole year, and I know that's hard when you're running kids, different seasons and all that jazz, but as to what your availability is for committee meetings, because we'd like to rejig them potentially with times. So that way everybody is like conflict free and not juggling. And I know, like, we have board members that have meetings on their prep as teachers, and you know, it's just difficult to juggle. So we want your kind of best case scenario, and then we'll narrow it in. It may result in us reconfiguring committees. Stacy and I will discuss it and talk to any members that looks like is the best way to make it feasible for everyone. Hopefully everyone can just stay where they're at, and we can figure it out from there. And I will send it to Dr. Preston as well as send out to the admin team. Okay. The next item that I wanted to kind of sound off, I think we've had some preliminary discussions about this in committee structure, but it's the possibility of moving our meeting times up by a half an hour. So we would start with our executive session at 6:30, and we would open our meeting to the public at 7 p.m. So first I want to solicit any comments from board members. Are there any board members that feel strongly that would not be in their best interest?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
It's fine with me.
Okay, so prior to making this official or taking any board action on those meeting times, I do want to allow the time from this meeting to the next for any members of the public or any other community members that feel that that's problematic or is of a concern. And so we would just advise them to reach out. You can find all of our board email addresses on the website. Mine is amiller@pitman.k12.nj.us. You could also reach out to Dr. Preston.
Sure.
Really, any of us, if you have some concerns with that, please let us know. We want to give it a month so that if there is any issues. We know of those in advance, and so we can be as transparent as possible in moving that time so folks don't feel like they're unaware of the change. The next item I wanted to bring to the board's attention was the possibility, we need to do a self-evaluation. We've kind of tooled around with that. Some members look more excited than others.
You have to
and
do it.
we need to also look at a potential date this fall for a retreat. So I'll probably put that in the poll for committee meetings for you guys to take a look. I think it works really well when we are able to do some additional ethics training above and beyond what we're required to by law. There's so many case decisions that come out each year, as our resident volunteer attorney often kind of keeps us all in the loop on. But it's important for us to all be mindful of those, and it just requires a little extra work. And last but not least, we want to wish Mr. Miles all the best. This is his last meeting with us up here, so we just wanted to say thank you.
Thanks.
And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Preston.
Thanks, Ms. Miller. Certainly want to echo my first, obviously my first go around with Pitman end of the year events. Commencement was certainly, you know, I understand why it's a vaunted event, right? I mean, it was a dignified, classy, just super special night, and I was honored to be part of that and see the students just, you know, just elated at that. So it's great that a lot of concerts I attended at the end of the year. Spirited. These kids are super impressive. Small but mighty is kind of really what I think that's the board. That's how you kind of advertised it a year and a half ago when I was meeting with you, and I could see that. It's just the talent here is really incredible. So that was fun to see. I want to, obviously you just said the student reps have graduated. We have 2 new student reps. I'm not sure they know what they're getting themselves into, but Emily Ward and Abby Heil, so congratulations to them. They'll be joining us probably in September.
Yeah, I think we swear them in September.
That's right.
And we usually have Mr. Long.
Right, that's right, that's good. So I wanted to brief the board on that. I'll be meeting with them. We have some plans for you know, what they can do with social media, some different ideas there, so we're excited to have them on board. I want to thank Aubrey and Becca, if you're listening in. Just thank you for all your service. You know, just for representing the board. Becca for 2 years, Aubrey for this last year. It was really tremendous to have you guys. Just want to give a couple updates, and Mr. Miles, correct me if I'm wrong, but bond referendum updates. Obviously, you might have seen some tear down in the vestibule. So we have on tap. We have a secure vestibule being replaced here at Junior Senior High School. Eventually, we'll see construction start on the parking lot. The fall, we'll start to see construction on the track. If all goes to plan, that's kind of the best time of year to lay a track is fall when the heat dies down. After that, we'll be moving to PES to do a tear down probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we hope.
Yeah, mid-July.
Mid-July.
I think at the latest.
Yep, at the latest for the PES secure vestibule. I know that's a long time coming there. But yeah, we're trying to get a lot of the safety and security items you know, up and running, and it's really kind of paramount for us right now. So anything I missed there?
Yeah, the only thing would be the roof has already started,
Yes.
the partial
Okay.
roof replacement here. The PES vestibule is not part of the referendum. It's an additional project that we added on.
That's right.
But the current vestibule that they're working on here at the high school, they've already framed the whole thing out in the last week and a half, and
That's
they're
right.
making great headway.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Rob. I want to just update the board too. I know that Mr. Miles had reached out for a RFP to find a broker for walls. One of the things we want to do with the Elk lease ending at the Wall School is find a tenant for that building. Our offices are currently, the tear down kind of happened. If you want to drop by Walls, I could show you through it. But those rooms are pretty gutted. I just walked through actually before I came over tonight, where those new central offices will be. We'd like to get a tenant in there. We're probably not going to get a school in there. That usually happens around November, December if you want to get a school tenant. But we want to look out. Ms. Miller, you kind of had an idea, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago when we first heard of this, is hey, maybe we could get some municipal offices, federal offices even. There's a lot of need for office space. So maybe get a broker in there, and that could be, you know, obviously bring additional revenue to the district. So that's something we're looking at right now. One of the statutory things I have to do every year is the HIB semi-annual report. You can see that year to date, which means January 1st to June, the end of the year, June 13th. We've had a total of 6 reported HIBs, 4 confirmed for the district. you know, really, I do want to say this place is really kind of magical, and those numbers, I can't tell you how many colleagues that I have throughout the county that say, are you fudging your scores? Or, that can't be true. And I just think it's you know, it's obviously a testament to the parental involvement of this community, the pride of you know, our students themselves, and certainly our staff who really you know, and I'm looking at some here now that you know, just really make this such a welcoming environment. Obviously, it's a town that has a lot of civic pride, and you kind of feel that in the schools. And I remember before Mr. Miles started before me, and he said, "You're just really going to love it here in Pitman. It's like coming back to work in 1986." And it's really just been that feel. And you know, it's such a strong selling point, and I think it's really kind of the delineator for me of what makes Pitman a special place. So. Obviously, these are legitimate scores and reports, and you know, and that's not, it doesn't happen accidentally. I want to thank Mr. Long. He's come in and presented to us on his processes, following those processes. You know, and one of the things we've tried to do too, I don't know if you recall, in the April board meeting, we brought a company called Citrus in. They're actually a local outfit. They consult out of Philadelphia, but. In my previous district, we worked with them. Really great program. They really help you journey towards national schools of character. And I was kind of thinking of a quote for a long time, and I kind of looked it up. But education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make man a more clever devil. That's a quote by C.S. Lewis, a philosopher and a theologian, really. But he really talked a lot about education, and we have these conversations all the time. To be a school leader in Pitman is to have these conversations. It's part and parcel of our administrative council meetings. We have to really think deeply about what we're doing. And yeah, we want to move our academic scores, our test scores, but we can't do that until we really instill some strong character values in our students. So that's really kind of part and parcel with the goal of, we want these scores to be 0 every year for real. And it's not about being recognized as a national school of character. It's about actually being a national school of character, and that's kind of really something that's super important to me, and I know to the entire leadership team, to teachers, teacher leaders. You know, that's what I gathered in the conversations I had last summer with the teachers, so that's certainly important for us. For this particular month, there were 3 HIBs reported, 2 confirmed. And finally, before I read the bios of our new hires, I want to echo Ms. Miller, thank Mr. Miles, you know, for your work, your positive impact here in your short time here. It's been tremendous. You were a tremendous influence, you know, in the district leadership team. You know, bringing about change and kind of moving us in the right direction, turning the ship, as you say. And so I really want to thank you for your service. Best of luck to you and your next endeavor.
Thanks. It's been an honor working with the board and with you, Dr. Preston. So. I'll give you the $20 bill after the meeting. I promised you.
You did not pay me. All right, so if I can,
yes,
I just want to read the bios. So we kind of skip into the motions under curriculum instruction on new hires. She couldn't be with us tonight, but I still want to read her bio, particularly for people watching at home. But Ms. Rachel Basallo will be our new math teacher at the junior senior high school. She recently earned her degree in mathematics and secondary education from Monmouth University, graduating summa cum laude with a 3.98 GPA. She holds a New Jersey mathematics certification and was recognized with both the Excellence in Secondary Education Award and the Academic Achievement Award from Monmouth Math Department. Her teaching experience includes student teaching and field placements at the Marine Academy of Science and Technology, Shore Regional High School, and other schools, working primarily with and I think she's up for the challenge, and she knows the whole bent there. I want to welcome Ms. Christy Valsero, who's here tonight. She'll be our new 4th grade elementary teacher at Pitman Elementary School. I just want to read her bio. Ms. Baldessaro is an experienced educator. I think teacher of the year pretty much everywhere you've been in every school. If not, I'm like teacher of the month 9 times. I'll stick to the script here. Is an experienced educator with a strong background in both elementary and secondary education. She has served as a kindergarten teacher, where she excelled at that. Secondary English teacher with experience in curriculum development, instructional design, student assessment, student behavior. I know you work for AdvoServe. She has taught in the Glassboro and Cumberland County school districts and was recognized as Teacher of the Year in 2023. and Teacher of the Month in February 2025. She holds a BA in English and Writing Arts from Rowan University and an MS in the Science of Instruction from Drexel, and is certified in both elementary education and secondary English. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Also big shoes to fill, and with Mr. Ray, so welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. Ms. Parker, Ms. Alexandria Parker, she'll be our new preschool teacher at Memorial. Ms. Parker's worked in early childhood and elementary education in several roles, including as a long-term substitute preschool teacher, an instructional assistant in pre-K and kindergarten classrooms. She has taught in both in-person and virtual settings in the West Deptford and National Park School Districts. This is kind of an interesting point we had a conversation about, which I asked her a question in her interview. I said, you have a BA in history with a minor in international studies and German. So I said, wow, that's really interesting. I said, and she was teaching at the secondary level. I said, well, what's the biggest difference? And she said, honestly, there's not a lot of difference between middle school and preschool. And I've been actually thinking about that now as I look at the kids. I said, there's not much of a difference. It's just bigger. That's right. So welcome aboard. And I do want to point out that in these two particular positions, they were kind of pulled together. I think between the two positions combined, we had over 200 applicants for those positions. So a super competitive field. So obviously, congratulations in being recommended tonight. I know she needs no recommendation and no introduction, but she was a former teacher here, very beloved from what I understand. Was Ms. Michelle Tucci. She's unable to make it tonight. She sends her thanks to the board, but she's down in Georgia at a baseball tournament. Ms. Michelle Tucci is a seasoned educator with over 2 decades of experience in teaching and program development across multiple grade levels. She holds a BA in education and a BS in biology from Rowan, as well as an MA in school leadership from Wilmington. Ms. Tucci is certified in K-8 elementary education and holds a CE for principal, with requirements completed for bio and middle school math. Her professional experience includes teaching middle school science and digital media in both Pitman and Kingsway, as well as a decade of service as a GT teacher, gifted and talented teacher, in Deptford. She's also the founder and director of Camp Idea, which actually ran here in Pitman for a couple years, a summer program for advanced learners, and was named Teacher of the Year in 2022 for her innovative contributions to student engagement and enrichment. And last but not least is Miss Madonna Haynes, who will be joining the Pitman Junior Senior High School as a non-instructional aide, beginning with her, bringing with her a wealth of professional and leadership experience. She calls this her next chapter. She founded and grew. She spent over 3 decades managing operations at Haynes Greenhouses, a business she founded and grew to serve the tri-state area. Most recently, she worked as a business development manager and program training manager at Barb's Harley-Davidson. A graduate of Washington Township High School, Ms. Haynes has also been active in community service, including years of volunteer counseling with the Diocese of Camden. She's excited to begin this new chapter working with young people in a school setting and contributing to a positive, supportive environment for students and staff alike. So welcome aboard, everyone.
Yes. So we're going to take a brief recess real quick so we can introduce ourselves to the new folks, and then you are always welcome to stay for the entire meeting, but if you desert us, we will totally understand. So let's just take a 5-minute recess.
Yep.
I just want to make 2 quick comments about Dr. Preston's superintendent report and say that one of my first volunteer gigs was the school safety team meeting as a parent volunteer, and it was always very impressed upon the members of the public, parents like myself, when we would go into those, how incredibly important the administration, the guidance counselors, and the staff in general took HIB complaints and working on the culture and doing all the things. So just even as a parent, you really saw their dedication to making that a priority.
Yep.
And I also just wanted to say thanks to Mr. Miles and Dr. Preston and the team for how quickly the referendum work has started. One of the things that is always a concern when you're running a referendum campaign, so to speak, is how quickly, sometimes there's multiple years delay before the first project even takes off, and it's really hard for folks who are already starting to pay those property taxes to see the value in that. So to already have these vestibules kind of underway, which I think were a huge priority for us, and all these big projects going, is really great, and a testament to how hard everyone in the central office worked in advance of this. So we don't have student representatives this evening. They'll be joining us next month, so it's going to take us to finance and facilities, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Grossman.
Thank you. Finance and Facility Committee met on June 18th, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. via Google Meet. In attendance were Superintendent Dr. Robert Preston, Business Administrator Mr. Robert Miles, committee members Rebecca Biaiono and April Miller. The committee discussed the sale of the bus listed as an agenda item this evening. The district selected the highest bidder of the 9 to 10 bids we received. As the Board of Ed has discussed in the past, the district has been unable to secure a consistent bus driver to provide transportation services with this bus. The sale of the bus will generate revenue for the district and relieve the district of the expense of maintaining an unused bus at the bus depot. The committee discussed and agreed upon increase in
Say it again?
typo. No, the committee discussed and agreed upon an increase in the rent for Kindle Elementary School, which is being utilized by Washington Township's Board of Education for their preschool students. The tax levy payment schedule from the borough to the Board of Education was discussed, and outlined payment schedule better aligns with the municipality's collection of quarterly taxes. The safety vestibule construction has started at Pitman High School. The Department of Education approval of the vestibule at Pitman Elementary School has arrived, which will allow the crew to move over to PES to begin their vestibule after the high school project is completed. The partial roof replacement has also been started at the high school. The drainage issue for the track work is beginning, and the district posted a social media post to alert nearby neighbors to the work. Residents should not park in the district-owned lots at Pitman High School. The district office space that is being configured at Walls is underway. It will be nice for the admin team to have space that is accessible, functional, and safe for the district's use. The end-of-year budget update was provided to the committee by Mr. Miles. We were pleased to note that I need reading glasses.
I just you want mine.
We were pleased to note that the district was able to ensure adequate reserves for the district through carefully maintained expenditures. There are motions on the agenda this evening to designate the reserve accounts these funds will be transferred to. For members of the public, much like a household budget, the district must maintain reserve accounts for unexpected expenditures, such as a boiler that broke this year at Memorial School. Being good stewards of public tax dollars is always a focus of the board and the administration. Additionally, the board must maintain reserve funds to ensure we are able to adequately provide for students whose needs may change or who may enroll after the budgeting process in the district could mean a sudden expenditure for north of $500,000. These funds must be available as the state does not fully fund extraordinary aid and remits the pennies on the dollar of owed aid after the year has been completed. With the preschool expansion aid, a grant provided by the state, the district will be installing a marquee in front of Memorial to better communicate information to the public. This will be fully funded by the state aid for this program. With that, I'd like to move items 1 through, is it 20? Oh, Lord. 1 through 24 on the agenda. Can I get a second?
Second, AP.
Discussion?
that's all on the committee report. Anyone? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Miles, please call.
All right. Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mrs. Farrell,
Yes.
Mr. Grossman,
Yes.
Mrs. Higby Iono,
Yes.
Mrs. Papalardo,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, it's going to take us to curriculum and instruction. I will turn it over to Mrs. Bolton.
All right. So looking at some of these things, I feel like they have changed since we met. Okay. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on June 18th, 2025 at 4:30, and the meeting lasted a little less than an hour. In attendance were Mr. Caltabiano, Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Pote, and myself. You can look at the agenda. We had quite a bit of numbers, and actually they grew since here. So we just talked about some of the items on there. Number 7 was accepting funds from a grant. And Mr. Caltabiano said we'll use them for universal screening software that we are looking into, because we have to do that anyway for grades K to 3, so we will look into that. And then that is the wrong one, but it looks like now 23, 24, 25, and all the way up to 28 now are now all our new hires, which we were able to get in by the 11th hour. So we got all those new teachers in and approved, and we're very excited to welcome them. Should be an exciting September. So the last thing we talked about was some of our coaching staff on there. Which did we, now that I'm looking at this one,
Before you make
I
your
might have
motion-
had my own question.
Oh, what, before you make
The
your
one
motion,
thing
I
that
just
we-
want to ask you. Go ahead, keep going.
No, the one that we were talking about with the numbers, did we ever confirm that one or no? Remember, we had a question about who is carrying the field hockey one.
Oh, yes. Did we resolve that? To see if that's what we paid last year?
If we carry it, or,
I didn't, that wasn't on the list that I had. Rob, did you know, do you know?
Yeah, because we split that with glass.
yeah, that's what it, we
Yeah, I
weren't
can-
sure who, what our contract actually was for
I
that,
can get the
or
contract.
that.
What do you need do you need that amount?
We want to,
Well, we
just
just
want to know if we've always
don't wanna
historically
approve
paid
it
for
if
both.
we're,
Oh, that I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
so why don't, we'll amend that one because it won't change, oh, when do they start?
not before July, right?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
so
a
let's
rule, they
amend
can't
it.
start.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
A motion to amend the agenda, and then we need a second.
Yeah, we're gonna have to motion to, yeah, all right, keep going.
Sorry about that.
Okay,
Sorry.
no,
okay.
that's it. I was going to say,
Don't
with
move.
that, I'll make an motion.
Don't move that. Okay,
Okay.
so first make a motion to amend the items in the curriculum and instruction to remove item number 25 and 27.
Yeah, I was
They're
wondering about them too, because
erroneously
they're only
listed.
there on 3 people, right?
Right, so let's go ahead and make that motion first, please.
Okay, so I will make a motion to remove item 25 and 27, it looks
Yeah,
like.
so those are just for members.
Just
oh,
those 2, this
yeah.
is just a typo, right?
Right, may I have a
Yeah.
second, please?
Second.
Okay, so we're just removing those because they're not actually actionable items.
Correct.
I'm not sure, I never quite Robert's rules,
Where's
I don't
the-
have my folder. So let's, do you mind calling the vote for these? I don't know that we really have to.
Yeah, it would
but-
be a, it would just be a,
Yes,
not a
no?
roll call.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, so, all in favor of removing 27 and 25?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions? Any objections? Okay. And then Sarah, if you, or Mrs. Bolton, if you could modify item number 46
Okay,
so that we can have further discussion and we can address this at the July meeting. So you're gonna
Table?
motion to modify agenda item 46.
all right, I will make a motion to amend item number 46.
And
Can I get a
remove, remove the 2 positions.
We're not just gonna, we're amending it
To
to
remove those so that we can get further information and confirm
because we're gonna approve
contract.
the rest, so we're only,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so I'll make a motion to amend item 46 and remove the field hockey, two two coaching field hockey positions until we can get.
We're just trying to get clarity on funding.
Yes,
Yeah,
we need to get
they'll be
clarity on
approved.
funding
It's
for it.
just- They'll be approved.
Yeah.
We just need to we want to be certain that we can
Yes.
annotate background, where those funds come from.
That's a shared team, so.
Yes,
Shared
it's a
team.
shared
Just for
team.
addition,
Yeah.
yeah, we want to make sure that we're paying our appropriate portion, and so is the other schools.
Right.
Okay, may I have a second to Mrs. Bolton's motion?
Second Grossman.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any objections? Okay, so again, just to clarify for members of the public, we just want some additional information because that's
Yeah,
a
we'll put a background
shared,
clause on that.
yeah, a shared service agreement that we have with another district, and we want to ensure that we are
Good catch.
only paying our appropriate bill, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay, so now can you make a motion?
So does that change the numbers then?
You're gonna go
instead
items-
of going to 60? Does
You're
that
gonna
push them
go
up?
1 to 24, 26, 28 to
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
60.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 24, 26, 28, and then 29 through 60.
Can I have a second?
Second, Papalardo.
Okay. And then Mr. Miles, please call us the vote.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mrs. Farrell, Mr. Grossman,
Yes.
Mrs. Higby Iono,
Yes.
Mrs. Papalardo,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
I abstain for number 3, yes to the rest.
Our abstention number 3, that's recorded, and motion carried.
Thank you. I do want to just add an additional item. I apologize for not, I don't think it would have changed anyone's vote, but I do want to just bring the board's attention to item number 41. Per our discussion at our last board meeting, Dr. Preston and I met yesterday so that we could square that all away, but we want that reflected appropriately in the meeting minutes as is required by QSAC.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so communication and policy, I'm going to turn it.
Before, I just want to point out too, one thing, it's not a problem with it, I just wanted to, I meant to thank in my superintendent report, point out Tom Rumaker is
Yes,
retiring.
I did
Oh, I
that.
did.
40,
Yes.
44 years, almost 45 years of service.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring attention to that. You know, I've met with him, we see him all the time at Walls, and such a tremendous employee, and just really thank him for his service, so.
And he loved buying flowers from the
Yeah.
full
He-
school
yeah.
flower sale.
Such a
He was always
supporter.
our biggest
Yeah.
supporter.
Coach Bingo for the
everything in
HSA.
town.
Yeah.
Yes, the band,
Yeah.
the theater, I mean, he's just
Yeah,
been
he was at
such
all the
a-
events at the end of the year, and, yeah, so,
He's been
anyway.
just a
all.
tremendous member of the
Yep.
community staff.
Sorry.
No, that's wonderful. I'm glad to.
See that? I forgot to mention that
Um,
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Higby Iono.
The Communication and Policy Committee met on June 18th at 5:30. In attendance were Mrs. Papalardo, Mrs. Farrell, Mr. Caltabiano, and myself. The revised policy 9191 is on the agenda to be adopted. The committee also discussed a recently adopted statute requiring every school district to have a policy on the use of sunscreen at school. We're waiting for guidance from Strauss Esme, and we'll take whatever appropriate action to amend our policy once we have that. So with that, I move to adopt item number 1 as written.
May I have a second?
Second, Farrell.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing. Mr. Miles, please call the vote.
Right. Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mrs. Farrell,
Yes.
Mr. Grossman,
Yes.
Mrs. Higby Iono,
Yes.
Mrs. Papalardo,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. All right, it's going to take us to our second public comment. To be recognized to speak, stand at the podium located to my left and state your name, municipality of residence, and group of affiliation if applicable, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Okay, seeing no one, do we have any old business? Any new business? All right, seeing none. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Grossman.
You have a second?
Second, Farrell.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? The next Board of Education meeting is scheduled for July 23rd in Pitman High School Media Center. Please note that our regular scheduled meeting in June and July were moved back 1 week due to schedule conflicts. That communication was sent out by the district, but just want to reiterate that one more time here for all members of the public who may want to join us. All right, great, thank you.